Hi, it's John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to this week's Black Belt Leadership Master Your Life podcast. Are you one of those folks that finds yourselves getting ready, getting set, but never going? You're planning to do something incredible tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. You put together all of these amazing plans to make a difference in your lives and the lives of other people, but you never get out of the starting blocks. You never start running the race. You never take decisive action. That's what I want to take a few minutes and talk about in this week's podcast. I recently ran into an old friend. He and I were part of a junior high school track team. We had a laugh together as we were recalling our coach, Coach Walker, who was an incredibly gifted coach that taught us to push ourselves well and to really allow us to see the better version of ourselves as an athlete every time we walked onto the track. Now, my buddy and I were laughing because one day, as we were preparing for a cross country meet that we were doing, Coach Walker had sent us on this long run throughout town, running up a mountain, circled around our city and back down, and then looped through a subdivision. It was a long run. Well, several buddies and I decided about halfway through, rather than running the loop all the way down the backside of the mountain and come around through, we'd take a shortcut down the side of the mountain. It cut out about 3 miles, and we could get back in a timely manner and be able to go to the movies and do some things we'd planned to do that night. But little did we know that Coach Walker was sitting in his pickup truck at the bottom of the mountain we never ran down. And as the athletes came running around the corner and they turned the loop to head back towards the junior high school, he was checking off the names of those who passed his truck. Well, needless to say, myself, my buddy, and a few others, we never passed Coach Walker. So when we got back to the track, Coach was there and he began to visit with all of us and asked us about our run. And then he shared with us what had happened. And as a result of that, we got the unique experience of having everybody else on the track team get in the bus. And then Coach Walker had us jog in front of the bus as he slowly drove behind us. And we ran from the track facility all the way back to the training facility where we had started our day. We all got a great laugh out of it. And it taught us a valuable lesson about making sure that we're not shortcutting, because when we shortcut, we're only cheating ourselves. Now, as we were talking about some of the things that Coach Walker taught us, one of the things that I was reminded of was the fact that Coach Walker taught us the value of getting a good start at the beginning of the race. When we would get into the starting blocks to run a sprint, or in my case, to run the hurdles or a relay, and we're listening for the starting gun, Coach Walker always reminded us that we wanted to stay low. And we wanted to drive out of the blocks as hard as we could, staying low to the ground, shaving precious milliseconds off of the stopwatch. He believed that if we could get a great start to the race, getting out early, we had an opportunity to have a better chance to win. Because here's one of the things that he would remind us all the time. If you're slow getting out of the blocks, you're starting from behind. But one of the things as a leader, we need to understand that if you never get out of the blocks, you never start the race. Now, leadership is much like a sprint or a run or something else. You've got to get started in order to accomplish something of significance. One of the things leadership expert John Maxwell says is that leaders go before. They lead the way. They are the first ones out of the block when the gun fires, giving them an opportunity to see success because they are out in front of everyone else, modeling the type of behavior that they want others to see before them. If you can't get out of the blocks early and get a fast start to what you're doing, it's going to be a much tougher race because you are competing from behind, and you've got to make up ground before you can take the lead. Now, a few weeks ago, I was meeting with a corporate trainer, something I seem to be doing a lot of here lately, who is asking me to give them an independent assessment of their coaching program. They wanted some honest feedback on what they were doing to grow their business. And with this particular individual, We really spent a couple of hours looking at his marketing materials, his training materials, the handouts that he was going to be using in the corporate training that he was going to be doing with his clients. Now, I do have to say that the content that he had developed was top notch. It was professionally done, it was visually appealing, and it was concise and to the point. It was really good stuff that was going to make a difference in the lives of other people. But then, as we began to discuss what he was doing to grow his business, a startling fact emerged. This individual was spending all of his time developing content. He was refining it, he was tweaking it, he was rehearsing it over and over and over, getting better every time he did it. But that was all he was doing. There was no marketing to corporate customers to deliver this incredible content that he was building. So all of the stuff that he was developing, while it was great stuff, was never going to change anybody's life because he was engaged in this mindset of ready, set, set, but never having an opportunity to go and make a difference. Now, I talked to a friend the other day that was a martial arts school owner, another area I spend a lot of time coaching and training in. And I was asking him about some promotional marketing materials that he and I discussed about a way that they could look at growing their student populace and creating some additional retention with the existing students they had. I asked him if he had implemented that program and what kind of success he was seeing. And I found his response interesting. John, he said, I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. I've been focused on X, Y, and Z. And he gave me all these excuses of all these other things he'd been focused on. But then he came back and he says, I really haven't initiated that marketing initiative yet. So he was making an investment in a larger retail space to expand his practice. He was buying new mats. He was buying new equipment. He was doing a number of things to create a welcoming environment for new students. But he wasn't inviting the new students in the door. As a result of that, what was he doing? He was engaging in ready, set, set. Now, I find it interesting that I'm spending a lot of time working with coaches who are struggling in their practice, trying to figure out why they are not being as successful as they could be in getting in front of a qualified prospect, having an opportunity to work with them and allow them to see success. As I meet with corporate business owners, specifically small to mid-sized business owners that are struggling to gain market share, and I talk with them about different ways to create influence, to create buzz around their business, opportunities to allow them to stand out in the crowd as being unique and different from their competition, and really creating venues that can attract their ideal customer to them. And when we get all that put together, and I'll ask them when they're going to implement, common response I get is, yeah, John, we'll get to that really soon. And having heard that for a number of times over the last several weeks and months, people procrastinating and putting off what they know they need to do now to see success and thinking into that elusive, I'm going to do something amazing tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. When I hear them tell me I'm going to do that soon, I've started asking this question. Show me soon on your calendar. I'll pull out my iPhone and I'll pull up my calendar and I'll say, show me soon on my calendar. And they can't do that. And it's a realization for them that if they're going to make a difference and they're going to see lasting change that brings an organization together, that strengthens the team that they're leading in their business, that creates a remarkable experience for a customer that invites them to come back and to bring a friend. Whatever it is they're trying to do to see success in their business, if they're going to make some amazing change for the better tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, guess what? Tomorrow never arrives. If you've got an excuse why you can't do it today, you're going to have an excuse why you can't do it tomorrow. And if you never implement the amazing plans you put together, you're never going to have an opportunity to celebrate your success. So here's what I want to remind you of. To get to the top of the mountain, you've got to grab the rope and start climbing. You can adjust the equipment. You can adjust your belt. You can look at and try to map out the most appropriate path that you want to climb. But at some point, to get to the top of the mountain, you've got to grab the rope. You've got to put your feet on the mountain, and you've got to start climbing the mountain. All of the great plans that you put together are for naught if you do not implement them and take decisive action right now. If you fail to do so, you are caught in the procrastination mindset of ready, set, set, and never going. So let me challenge you to think about this. Let me challenge you this week to stop procrastinating. Let me challenge you this week as you get up today and you have an opportunity to get your feet in the starting blocks. You can look down that 100-meter sprint track and you can see the finish line that you need to get to today to move your business forward in some manner. Let me encourage you to get in the blocks, get ready, get set, and take decisive action so that when the gun sounds, you're going to push off from the starting blocks. You're going to stay low to the ground. You're going to drive your legs forward, and you're going to sprint down the track towards the finish line to get something done today that moves your business forward and creates an opportunity for you to scale and see more success. Now, for you, what does that look like? It might be that you need to pick up the phone and make those outbound calls that you've been procrastinating and putting off. It might be following up on those referrals that you got from a friend that you're going to get around to tomorrow or next week or next month. Maybe it's starting that marketing campaign that you've been putting off for the last several weeks or the last several months because for whatever reason, you've got an excuse why you haven't done it up to this point. Maybe for you, it's identifying 10 centers of influence that you want to connect with and tell them what you do so that they can introduce you to individuals who want and need what it is that you have to offer. Or maybe for you, it's scheduling that big event that you've been planning to put on, but for whatever reason, up to this point, you've just refused not to take action. Now, remember this, leading from behind is not leading. Leaders go before other people. They show other people the way. And when you're leading from behind, you're actually following. You know, as a boy, my mom used to remind me that can't is not an option because when you say you can't, you have created a mindset of inactivity. So stop saying I can't because when you say I can't, you have put a limit on what you can do. Good friend, I remember years ago, one of the things that he always said is people would say, I can, but, and he would say, a but is what you sit on. And your ability to move forward ends where your but begins. When you use a but and you're making an I can't statement, guess what? I love the way my mom put it. My mom used to say, and still does to this day, can't, never, could, do nothing. Now think about that. Can't, never, could, do nothing. Or as one of my mentors, Chris Robinson says, it's not that you can't, it's that you won't. And that choice is yours. It's important to remember that yesterday ended at midnight. You have an opportunity today to start over. So what are you going to do today to make a difference? Let me challenge you to get into the starting blocks of life. You've created a plan. And remember, perfection is the enemy of getting things done. There's always a better plan out there. But if you're seeking the relentless pursuit of perfection, you're never going to take that uncomfortable action today that's going to lead to the results. Remember, the first time you do something is never going to be the best time, but until you start doing something, nothing is going to change in your life. So here's my challenge for you. Today matters. So I want you to get in the blocks, and I want you to get ready. I want you to get set, and I want you to go. We have only today to make a difference. And at the end of the day, I don't want you to look back and see today as wasted because you got ready, you got set, you got set, but you never went forward. You never got out of the blocks and you never made a difference. So here's my question. What are you waiting for? Go do something today to make a difference. Get ready, get set, and go. Hey, John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me for today's Black Belt Leadership Master Your Life podcast. If we're not connected on social media, please visit me on my website, beablackbeltleader.com. You'll find all of our social media links on the Contact Us page. And if you're looking for some incredible tools, resources, and training content, there's a ton of it available on the website. I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll share this podcast with others. But more importantly, I hope you will choose to take decisive action today. Get ready, get set, and go. Be the Black Belt leader you were called to be, and go live life with Black Belt excellence. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.